Hi guys, welcome back to Mummy Cooks Homemade, and this is meal prep for Christmas. So what did I start off with? Oh yeah, sausage rolls. Obviously, I'm not making puff pastry. I mean, that's just stupid. I ain't making it. Come to think of it, all the short crust. Anyway, I couldn't get my usual sausage meat, and it really annoyed me. And I used to use, if anyone's watched last year, it's like a tube of sausage meat, a long tube of sausage meat from a butcher. Well, when I first started getting them, there was about £2, and now they're nearly a £5 for a tube. For a tube, which will do one side of this pastry. No, man. That is far too excessive for sausage rolls for Christmas. I would have to buy 3 tubes probably. So I skinned a load of Lincolnshire sausages and used the sausage meat from within and just did it that way, because I'm not about to pay £5 for each roll, you know what I mean? My buffet's not that grand. So I just slapped some meat in there, made sure I got enough pastry to pull it over. Nothing, absolutely nothing difficult, even if you've never made them before. It's just that simple. Fold it over, make sure you press it down, push out the air, like that. Next to the sausage meat. Do the same on the other side. And then you're going to trim off any excess that you have. Just to tidy them up. Because we like a tidy sausage roll, even if we're going to be cheap. Do this just to seal down the 2 edges, and then I do tidy that line up yet again. That's so it doesn't steam and it lets out some of the hot air. You can see I've tidied that line up by the magic of editing. And we're just going to give it an egg wash again. Make it nice and golden. And I just did these in the air fryer. Just did these at 180 for 20 to 25 minutes. Just make sure they're fully cooked. On the air fry mode, not the bake mode. Just simply chop them up into pieces. You could freeze them here. I wouldn't egg wash it if you're going to freeze them like this. I decided to cook mine. There they are. Beautiful. Pop them on a couple of trays. You can when you take them out of the freezer and defrost them, they'll not be soggy. I promise, they won't be soggy. They'll still be nice and crispy. So, next I needed to do a batch of Yorkshire puddings ready for Christmas dinner. This is quite a long video. I've already started the next video, which is puddings. I say next, it'll be the last one. So I'm just putting in my flour. This is my usual recipe, so I will link it below. Never fails. even though I added the wrong amount of flour here. I realised after I put them in the oven. I thought, oh no, have I just wasted my time? But they come out alright, so. Yeah, it was rushing, you see, trying to get everything done and in the freezer. Always pay attention to what you're doing. But the right amount will be underneath. Bit of salt and pepper in there. I'm making this first, and then I'm going to put the pan into preheat. That'll just give this batter time to rest up a bit for about 15 minutes. That's how long I usually preheat the oven. Mine doesn't have a timer for preheat or anything like that. I know a lot of American ovens do. They beep when the preheat is done. I don't know if any UK ones do. I ain't got one of them. I'm not posh. I realised that I had put in a bit of extra flour, so I added an extra egg. There we go. So I'm going to leave that to rest, and then I'm going to just put my oil in my muffin pan. I always use a muffin pan, not a Yorkshire pudding tray. And I'll pop this in the oven 15 minutes. Gas mark 6. It's been in, so I'm just going to pop in the batter now as quickly as possible because I don't want the oil to cool down. Just try to do it safely. It is burning hot oil. Pop them back into the oven. 25-minute timer. And there we have Yorkshire puddings. 6 for Christmas Day, 6 for New Year. Sausage rolls were for Boxing Day buffet. So the Yorkshires are done. Salted. Oh, I had some Christmas cakes that I had to just send out. So that's all I'm doing here is just some icing. These are for the 2 that I made that were loaf shaped. So the Christmas cakes, once they're made, they're fed every week. When I used to make them in July, I used to feed them every 2 weeks because I had a longer space of time to feed them. But yeah, it seems to be later and later that I'm getting them made. So they was fed with brandy weekly. I've got some apricot jam, and that's going to be the glue. Just warm some up. Just paint it across the top. And you're just going to leave that until the apricot jam starts to set up. So I'm moving on to another one. This one was also due to be posted out. So I'm going round. They're so dark, them cakes, because of what I use in the cakes and the amount I feed them. Makes them really moist. So they're figs. Whole dry figs. Next I'm going with almonds, trying to just go around and fill in them little gaps. And the almonds did that. Next I'm going in with the whole Brazil nuts. Then these are whole dried apricots. So I'm just cutting those in half. And then standing them up on the cut edge. So I'm just putting a row of almonds again. So I tried to keep it like fruit nut. And then just some cherries in the centre. And to glue this all together, you need that apricot jam or preserve, whichever you've got. And you just need to glaze it. Oh, did I not glaze it on camera? Yeah. You'll see it looks a lot better. It's all glossy once you've glazed it. And it'll be the glue that keeps everything together then. Hopefully. While it's being posted out. And the apricot jam, it goes back to that sort of texture that it is before you heated it up. So it'll be slightly tacky but firmer. So that just needs to dry up a bit. I mentioned before that at Girls Brigade I've become the de facto quiche maker. So what did they take for the Christmas party? I'm trying to think. Oh, Steve bought some miniature cupcakes from Aldi. They were a pretty good price, $1.75 for 12, I think there was. So I got a couple of packs of them, and then I did the quiche. I also need a quiche for Boxing Day, So, 2 birds, 1 stone. As always, the big quiche is for Girls Brigade. And from trial and error, I know that the ready rolled pastry is not really quite big enough for that glass that glass container there that I used for the Girls Brigade quiche, so I just put it into the one that we're having. So everything that I prepared everything I prepared for us is going into the freezer. So it's quite deep, this one, even though it's smaller, it's quite deep. I think I put chicken in ours. Always use that comes with a pastry. And then of course you need to blind bake them. And while they're cooking, so usually the big glass container that I use for the quiche, glass dish, I used 5 eggs, 1 cream. So I've used 7 eggs this time and 2 cream. And a splash of milk. Some parsley. Give it a good old mix. And that's just your base mix for your quiche. It really is that simple. So long as you've got like milk, cream, eggs, you're nearly there. I tried to put in things that in both of them because father-in-law is coming, for everybody that knows father-in-law, Mr. Fussy Pants. So it has to have things in that he's going to eat. For some reason that little edge there sank right down when it was baking, even though it had been pushed up, but whatever, it didn't really matter. I am putting tomato in ours as well, even though the girls don't eat it, because they've just learnt to pull it out. That's what I do. Now I'm dropping little chunks of Lincolnshire sausage there. And that is chicken going into ours. Now, I was meant to make sweet chilli chicken, but then I thought about father-in-law and I thought, well, you know. You know how it goes when you got someone to consider who's blooming fussy. So I just made it plain chicken. And I'm just cutting up some smoky bacon. See, these are thin strips, so they don't take long cooking. So I'm not worried about it cooking through. And I also put some on ours as well. Now I do put enough egg to overflow the side of this quiche pan, as you can see, on purpose. That just fills in that gap there. Even though it will seep round, it'll fill in that gap. And you can see, look at that egg creeping out, look. But it was fine. It was fine. I always make the same mistake of using the one with the holes in. They were both absolutely gorgeous. One's obviously gone into the freezer for Boxing Day. And that one you're looking at there is already gone. they had their party and it's already gone. So this is the vegetable prep for Christmas dinner. Now, if you're going to freeze vegetables, you really need to blanch or par cook them, par boil them, par steam them, however way you cook them. I choose the option of steaming. Now, I don't know why I did all these, because there's only mother-in-law and Steve who eats parsnips. So, yeah. I think it's just... I had a brain fart moment, what can I say? Oh, I don't like doing sprouts. Really don't like doing sprouts. They're fiddly and they take time. I should have just sat down in my chair like I did it last year, but again, brain fart, what can I say? So I'm just prepping all the veg we're going to have for Christmas Day. The only veg I've not prepped, now let me think, is cabbage, because that's going to take me literally 2 minutes to just slice up half a white cabbage. So I've left that for Christmas Day, and the potatoes for the mashed potato, which is again is going to take me 5 minutes, so I haven't bothered with those. But everything else is now all pre-done. So I am going to use my big multi-cooker for the steam function. You all know I like that. I'm not pre-cooking the parsnips. The parsnips will cook with the carrots on Christmas Day, and parsnips do not take long. They do not need pre-cooking, even for the freezer. As you can see, I'm not messing about this day. So these are the stem cells. Does everybody remember the stem cells? Mr. Stem Cells in-law is back. So I've used 2 packs of tender stems. I've boiled it up to temperature, and I'm going to do my carrots. Because they're going to take the longest. You're not looking to cook these, you're looking to start them off. In this bowl next to them, there's going to be, with the carrots, there's going to be goose fat and honey and seasoning. Because on Christmas Day, when I take these out the freezer, they're going onto a baking tray. So they're going to go in and have about 4 minutes. Gives me long enough to do these. So there we are with some goose fat. It's not expensive this time of year, and it's worth it for that treat at Christmas. Honey. Mine's part set, but don't worry about that. You put it with heat and it'll just melt down again anyway. So if your honey has started to set, don't worry about it. So I'm just going to mix them all so that they're all covered. The heat from the carrots is going to melt that goose fat. As you can see, it's melting it. So these are already prepared now to go onto that baking tray. And I'm going to put them into silicone bags. Using this one, and I fill it right to the top. That's the chantenay carrots, And they'll be honey roasted in duck fat, as you can see, ready for Christmas Day. To go onto the baking tray and into the oven for about 10 minutes. Now, I'm not emptying this out because I want to do the same thing to the parsnips, because they're going to go on the same roasting tray that the carrots have gone onto. So I'm going to cover them in exactly the same mixture because I want honey roast parsnips. So gentle, aren't I? Flick it out of the way. So, yeah, I've used the same container again because it was exactly the same thing going to go into it. So, yeah. These I can empty straight out of the bag. Again, a silicone bag. Got quite a few of these. They come in handy at Christmas because they take up less room in the freezer. You can see this is going straight into the bag now, not into that thing. And I left the bag open until they cooled down. That's broccoli done. Right, sprouts are going in. They will take about 2.5 minutes. Oh, he's missed that part out. I bagged them up as well. So now, potatoes for the roast potatoes. Always look to cut your taters so that you've got as many long flat edges as possible. Because when you're roasting them, that is going to be what gets really crispy. So that's what I'm doing. I'm chopping them up. And I give these 7 to 8 minutes on steam. These as well will go straight onto a roasting tray. What's left gets bagged up because I didn't have another one of these roasting trays at that time. But I have got another 5 now. So come Christmas Day, I'll just pour them straight onto another tray. You'll see I'm not putting any coating on these, and that's intentional. The coating that I usually use. I'll just put some of the coating on Christmas Day, if I even bother. Because the coating's got dried semolina and breadcrumbs in, I didn't want to put that into the freezer. Because I thought it might go a bit claggy. So I've left them as is. And they'll be just as good like this. Lots of flat edges there, look guys. And the rest I put into there. You're probably thinking, you got no goose fat. And you'd be right, I ain't. But I put some in the bag. Waiting for it to melt and then just smushed them about. So there's all the veg prepped, potatoes prepped, everything's prepped for Christmas dinner except that little bit of cabbage and a few potatoes for mash. Boxing Day quiche is done, sausage rolls are done. Yeah, it was very busy, but it's a relief to know. And the Yorkshire puddings as well. The Yorkshire puddings is a bag for New Year and there's a bag for Christmas Day. Same as what I did with like the stuffing. There you can see I bagged the sprouts up. There you go. Hope you managed to get all the way to the end of this. There is one more prep before the Christmas cook with me. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.